Today, we're getting into a really specific relationship dynamic, one that keeps coming up in clinical work.
Right.
It's this link between women who had emotionally absent fathers and their tendency later on to choose partners on the autism spectrum.
And we're diving in because this isn't just, a coincidence. It often looks like a very complex, almost deterministic outcome of what we call the repetition compulsion.
The drive to repeat a trauma to master it.
Exactly. The psyche wants to solve the original problem. And so emotional deprivation becomes normalized and love gets unconsciously tangled up with longing.
Okay, let's start with that original wound, the absent father. We need to be really clear here. This isn't usually about a dad who physically left. He's there in the house.
Yeah.
But he's psychologically inaccessible, like a void.
A psychological cavern, precisely. And for a daughter, that's an act of trauma. She doesn't think dad is unavailable. She thinks, I'm doing something wrong. I can't reach him.
So she internalizes it as a personal failure.
Completely. And to cope, she develops what's called an as-if personality. She becomes a master at reading the room, at suppressing her own needs, all to try and get some kind of connection.
And that survival skill, it fundamentally rewires her brain.
It does. Intimacy stops being about that secure, calming feeling. It becomes a dopamine-driven chase. The anxiety of trying to win over the distant figure, that's what feels familiar. That feels like the father bond.
So if that's the wiring, you can start to see why the ASD profile might be appealing during courtship. The predictability, the logic, the non-aggressive quiet.
It's all seen through that trauma lens. And this is where we see the safety paradox.
The safety paradox.
She mistakes the absence of danger for the presence of safety.
So he's not explosive or chaotic, and that feels like a massive relief.
A huge relief. And then his alexithymia, the difficulty identifying emotions in himself or others, it gets misinterpreted.
Yeah.
His flat affect isn't seen as unavailability.
It's seen as what? Stoicism.
Yeah.
Depth.
Exactly. He's just a quiet, deep thinker. And this fuels the big one, the healing fantasy. The idea that she will be the one to finally unlock the silent man, to succeed where she failed with her father.
It's the ultimate imago match. He's the perfect stand-in for that unfinished business.
He is the ultimate frustrator, perfectly embodying that unavailability she's trying to resolve. She's not seeking happiness, she's seeking closure.
And then the crisis point, maybe after marriage, the social masking the partner was doing, it drops.
It drops. And he retreats, becoming self-absorbed, emotionally flat. That psychological cavern from her childhood is suddenly right there in her living room.
And this leads to a specific condition, right?
It does. Cassandra syndrome, or affective deprivation disorder, kind of chronic pain from emotional starvation. But what makes it so awful is this other piece, epistemic injustice.
Explain that. Why is being disbelieved so damaging?
Because on the outside, he's often seen as the perfect, nice guy. He provides. He's stable. So when she tries to explain the profound coldness, her friends, her family, even therapists might say, but he's such a good guy.
They invalidate her reality.
They disbelieve her, which is a perfect echo of her childhood wound. Her feelings are wrong. Her reality isn't real.
And that explains so much about why it's hard to leave. The pain is horribly familiar. Her tolerance for it is high.
And leaving means facing two things. That the healing fantasy has failed, and now she has to face the original grief for the father she never really had.
So what's the way out?
The healing has to be individual work. For her, she has to mourn the father she lost or never had, and accept that her husband, because of his neurology, cannot fix that. It's not his job.
It's about differentiation. Understanding his silence isn't about her worth.
It's about his brain. That's the key. His silence is not a judgment on her.
And that's maybe the most profound shift. True healing starts when you stop shouting into that void, hoping for an echo, and finally decide to validate your own reality. The validation you've been seeking your whole life, well, it has to come from you.
Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.